Pleased to meet everybody. My name is Daniel Henriquez. I am running for Santa Clarita City Council in April 2010. I was originally born and raised in Louisiana. Had a brief 5-year cultural adaptation, that I say, in Texas, and then made my way west to California, and actually set up my roots in Lancaster and then made my way into Santa Clarita. I can tell you that I'm a 20-year Navy veteran. I'm an accountant and a small business owner here in Santa Clarita, of course. What I personally say that I offer to this particular candidacy and seat in office is that my extensive government experience, along with a distinct and specific financial acumen for the city in cost containment and financial accountability, something I've been doing for all my years. A little bit about myself: I found numbers at a very young age, create a passion and a career path in me that most people only hope to encounter and understand at any age. And that began and was and has been the stimulus and driving force in me for well over 30 years. Knowing that accounting was a logical career choice for me, I initiated very proactive and pragmatic avenues of specialization, expounding upon and giving further structure to my academic program, and was fortunate enough to be able to utilize all of these, including my passion and studies during my military career, expanding and honing my government accounting skills while earning a BS in accounting and an MBA in business and tax law. I can tell you personally that I'm happily married and a resident of Canyon Country, of course. Have been for the past 8 years. I have two stepchildren, 5 grandchildren that came along with that, one just recently. I have been in the background for all these 8 years, but in doing so, I have heard, seen, and experienced quite a bit from these sidelines, including our own annexation in 2006. In hindsight, I believe that my candidacy began back then, knowing the distortion of and the intentional disregard for the accurate information of which I intend to halt and begin a new level of transparency for all the residents during my term. This is not only a requirement of our elected officials, that I say, but a responsibility of them to properly ensure the community who entrusted them so faithfully with the privilege of representation. This, along with my extensive financial background, makes me the best asset and choice for Santa Clarita, the City Council, and Canyon Country, including my area of Stonecrest. If I may, I have a few examples that fully support and validate certain concerns that I've had lately. In recent weeks, I've attended quite a few meetings, council meetings and otherwise, in which it was mentioned that our city has a very balanced budget. Since then, I have found out that we don't. The same as everyone else. I've read the newspaper, and it was just funny that it came out that way. That's not the sort of information I like to hear afterwards, especially considering I heard for so many different times beforehand that everything was fine. This is something that I personally would not tolerate, and I refuse to believe that anyone else tolerates it also. It recently came about information with the Cross Valley connection. I personally found out that the city was sued. This was just in the past week, as a matter of fact. Sued and lost a $20 million lawsuit. It appears that $7 million of it was in legal fees, which is quite a bit, but that's the way it goes. And $13 million was the damages. The particulars and details of this specific suit is not as important as how the city and the city council plans to raise funds to actually either fight and counter this specific suit or to just pay it off. It appears that from what I've read and what I've heard, there are certain agreements that are done between municipal governments that's referred to as lease. And it appears in this particular case that the city of Santa Clarita is planning to lease City Hall to another department within the city and then have it leased back to them. In doing so, which is a very legal way, I personally say is unethical, but it still works. This keeps you and I out of the loop. We do not have to turn around and vote and find out about why and where these funds are coming from and where they're going afterwards. This is the way that governments have been doing it for years, I understand. It's not necessarily the way I run my house. It's not the way I want them to run my city. Another issue that recently came up was the redevelopment present in New Hall. I believe that it's necessary for the community. However, I also believe that the redevelopment needs to be done in a manner that it's conducive and very productive to the community at the same time. It's come to my attention that the New Hall redevelopment program purchased 2 blocks of land some time ago in which they intended to improve for walk space, is what the intention I hear was. Although this is a wonderful idea on the surface, in order to achieve this specific goal they set forth, some businesses in that specific 2-block area are going to have to relocate. Although this sounds very trivial, a few of these businesses, from my understanding, have been there for well over 20 years, with customers and employees that count on them daily. I believe that uprooting and moving them is going to devastate not only these businesses, but also the community surrounding them. Notwithstanding all of this, there are other programs that I have actually encountered in the past few months that I've been attending specific meetings and hearing about. The One Valley, One Vision, these are other redevelopment plans that are going. I believe these are all very important to the community also, as long as they're done correctly and done, again, in a manner that's going to be productive to not just the community, but also to everybody around in it. Notwithstanding this, within these programs, I believe in our present economic situation, the first order of business which I intend to, in addition to a few other concerns I just brought up, I believe I can stimulate and create business and employment within the residents of the community. I've done it for years in businesses that I've done and run, which I specialize in turnarounds. And I believe that bringing new business in is also a very important one. At least from my experience, it was once said long ago in a movie, as a matter of fact, that if you go looking for happiness, you generally don't have to look further than your own backyard. Statistically, this is right because residents of a community spend more money within their own community without even thinking about it, rather than when they go on vacation or otherwise. It's said that they enjoy seeing their community upgraded by any of these resources, knowing that they did it themselves and the tax dollars that anyone was bringing in actually helped to revitalize that and to create that.